Hello and welcome. Have you ever been right in the middle of a struggle and it feels like fear just colors everything? You know, those moments where you totally forget all the good things God has already done for you? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into how Scripture gives us real strength and clarity for exactly those times.
Jesus asks his disciples this question, and wow, it really cuts right to the heart of it all. After they'd seen miracle after miracle, he still has to ask, do you still not understand? And that question echoes for us today, doesn't it? It points to a core problem we all face, spiritual forgetfulness.
So, what is this danger of forgetfulness really? It's a quiet but super potent spiritual threat. It's that moment when we start to see our trials through the lens of anxiety, and it completely erases the memory of God's goodness and how He's shown up for us in the past.
The Gospel of Mark actually has a powerful name for this, spiritual blindness. It's what happens when anxiety hardens our hearts. We literally have eyes, but we just can't see what God is doing. We have ears, but we can't hear His truth. Anxiety puts these spiritual blinders on us.
Okay, so if anxiety is what's blinding us, we really have to figure out what's feeding it. And that leads us to a huge question. Where does temptation really come from? Let's uncover the true source of these inner struggles. Now, this is so important. It gives us such profound clarity. On one side, you've got this really common idea that God sends tough times to tempt us. But then you look at the word of truth, right from the book of James, and it is crystal clear God isn't subject to evil, and He tempts no one. Period. End of story. So if temptation doesn't come from God, where does it come from? Well, St. James defines it for us. Temptation is being lured and enticed by our own disordered desire. What does that mean? It means the battle is internal. The struggle actually begins inside our own hearts and minds. It's an inside job. And once we get that, once we understand that the struggle starts inside us, it allows us to turn toward the one ultimate truth that just demolishes our fear and anxiety. And that truth is the absolute, unwavering goodness of God, who Scripture so beautifully calls the Father of lights. I mean, just listen to this incredible line from James. Every good giving and every perfect gift is from above. This is huge. It means God is only the source of good things. He is a constant, perfect, generous giver, not a source of temptation or evil. And this just nails the point home, right? 0. That's the number. That's how much variation, how much shadow, how much change there is in the Father of lights. His goodness is absolute. It's constant. It never, ever flickers or fades. You know, knowing this truth about God's goodness isn't just a nice idea to think about. It's actually the foundation for a real spiritual journey. It's about making that active move from a place of fear to a place of deep, lasting faith. This path here, it's really a conscious choice to grow up in our faith. It's an invitation to move beyond just seeing the signs and the miracles, and instead to really dig in and find the deeper meaning behind them all. This is how we make the journey from fear to a trust that just can't be shaken.
And that's why perseverance, just sticking with it, is so critical. When we're facing trials, we have a choice. We can give in to the fear and that spiritual blindness, or we can choose to persevere. And by holding on to the truth of God's goodness, we actually strengthen our love for Him, and we walk that path toward the crown of life He's promised us.
Okay, we've covered some profound truths, but the real question is, so what? How does this change things for us on a Tuesday afternoon? Well, this next part is all about the real, practical impact that comes from embracing this stuff. See, living this truth isn't just about thinking differently, it has real, concrete effects. It fundamentally changes our prayer life. It strengthens our character, especially our perseverance, and it deepens our holiness, which is really just our personal relationship with God. All right, this right here is so practical and so powerful. The next time that anxiety, that spiritual blindness starts to creep in, what's the most effective thing you can do? It's this simple. Just stop. Recall one specific time God shows you His grace and give thanks for it. That one single act of gratitude can be enough to totally restore your spiritual vision. And in the end, this whole journey really comes down to love and obedience. As this quote from John's Gospel shows us, the proof of our love for God is in keeping His word. And the result? It's absolutely profound. The Father and the Son will come and make their home with us. Our very lives are transformed into a dwelling place for the Trinity. So let's end this explainer with a question for you to take with you. And this isn't just some thought experiment, it's a spiritual tool. The next time anxiety starts to rise, what is the one grace you can recall? Having that memory ready to go is your most powerful first step on the path from fear to trust. Thanks for joining me.